that big. What about this disconnect?
Well, the reports are that there's a disconnect between the vets and and Doug. I don't.
Are there? Is there?
Look, this is one of those things. Okay, again, remember the analogy I used the other day about how Scott Perry, when he was on the road trip, if he was talking to Indiana about their, wanting to bring their director of sales over,
right?
That I could legitimately report that Scott Perry was speaking to Indiana executives about interest in their personnel, and that would get aggregated and be a big deal.
Yeah.
Everyone would assume we were trying to trade for Tyrese Halliburton. I think this is one of those things where people assume, or they just. And by the way, I don't want to knock the reporter. By the way, maybe they have it. Maybe they spoke to one of the vets.
Yeah.
Maybe they spoke to one of the vets and they got it.
Well, I can't imagine they're happy, and I don't know that
right.
it's necessarily. I just think about the situation they're in. Nobody likes losing like this.
That's what I'm saying. And what my guess is, I don't think anybody is like, Doug, we don't think you know what you're doing. And there's like a big fight in the locker room. What it could be, if there is one, is, can we get traded? Because this is dumb, and we don't really want. We're gonna talk. We'll hear from Doug in the next segment. You can hear a tone shift in what the goals for this team are and what he talks about. And I don't know that necessarily jives with what DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine or Domantas Sabonis is kind of out of the picture right now. It's just a weird time right now. So of course you're going to get that. But it's also silly season.
Yeah. We're
entering silly season, and you have to be very careful what you. And I also don't like calling them every time something like this happens.
Right.
Like, hey, this guy said this. Is it true? I just feel like then I sound like a weirdo.
Well, and I just can't imagine. I mean, again, it's the stuff we've all kind of speculated on that. But the guys that have been in the league a long time that are nearing the end of their career, I don't think anybody's enjoying. Even the stuff we're going to play later from Keegan, who's still in the beginning part of his career. He's like, yeah, this sucks. He doesn't like losing like this, but it also doesn't mean he's like looking to go. He just wants this to get better and wants it to get better. Everybody does.
Everybody,
but you can't shortcut it.
No, you can't. No, you can't. And let's just say trades are going, if they happen, are going to bring more than just players back.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to. There will be some addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Just in general. We'll take a break. You want to play some audio in the next segment?
Let's do it.
Chris, could you cut up some of that Doug Christie? And did you also get the Keegan Murray audio too?
I'll try and get that.
Okay, yeah, try to get that by the next segment. We'll get to that and everything going on in Kingsland. We'll play some of those audio clips and what they actually mean. And then we'll look ahead at this Kings upcoming schedule, including 14 of the next 19 games are where. We'll tell you when we come back. That's a tease.
Download the Sactown.
Dave, are you at least intrigued from our good friend John?
Hi, John.
About a Domas Keegan Precious front line? I'm not really intrigued about anything that this team has to offer me right now, other than the youth. Am I intrigued in the sense that if they played that front line, I'd perk up a little to say, oh, I wonder how this will go? Yeah, and I understand the thought behind it. If this was the team that we were going to have, I would be interested to see if Precious Achiuwa could function as a full-time power forward as much for moving Keegan to the 3 as anything else. I suspect that would probably work better than the other thing I've seen floated out there, which would be a Sabonis, Reynaud, Keegan front line.
Okay.
And I think that if Sabonis comes back and those players are still on the roster, I would not be shocked if we did see that.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I mean, they could try it. You can try just about anything you want now.
Yeah.
But that also would infer that maybe DeRozan has been dealt because
that's right.
I mean, while he's here, DeRozan can still get you 20-plus points a game.
I think the thought process for me, though, Jason, so like Livermore Pat says, I like that front line.
Okay.
Might be a good front line, but here's where I walk that process through. What if it is?
Okay.
What if it's a good front line?
Right.
What happens? Do we win more games?
Maybe.
And then what? Why? What does that do? How does that help us? I have no interest in winning games this year.
No, I know, but okay, right now, in a general statement, I think a lot of people believe they've got to move on from DeRozan, Sabonis maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Monk,
Levine for sure.
Levine.
Monk, yeah.
Okay, but could you keep Sabonis?
Yes.
And still do a rebuild, retool? So now you go, wait, you know what? Sabonis as a 5, which he's been good here. Somebody at the 4, and if in this case it's Achua for now, and like that looks good with Keegan at 3, then maybe you go, all right, well, our offseason goal is to upgrade the 4. And go, yeah, Sabonis is a part of the future, along with whatever you dealt, if you dealt Levine, Monk, or DeRozan, and your draft picks. It's like, no, we're going to go for, we're going to keep Sabonis.
And I'm not trying
it's constant. I think the whole thing is evaluating.
I'm not trying to be a wise guy either or a stickler. I'm trying to, one thing that has helped me get through this year mentally, although I have a feeling this year and my blood pressure might actually be connected, is I tried to establish hard and fast rules of the rebuild, and I'm trying to stick to them because they're like a security blanket for me. I don't see any situation where Domantas Sabonis is part of a rebuild.
Okay.
I just don't. The money and the age.
Okay.
What I don't see any upside in this team again.
But the rebuild also isn't done like from now until like, hey, next season it's done.
No. It's a long-term thing.
Honestly, you could make the argument. I mean, it's all in how you look at, like, you're always rebuilding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're always tinkering. And so,
yes.
Can you cleanse the whole palette in one season? It's hard to do, but maybe.
I would like for them, as I've been drowning in successful front office moves and trying to read my history and understand things. I have now found myself looking at Domantas Sabonis, not as Sabonis, a guy I like and a player. I'm a huge Domantas Sabonis guy. Anybody knows that. That's $40 million of expiring contracts that we could be taking in for future draft capital.
Sure.
That Sabonis's value to me is no longer rebounds and being a good team guy or whatever. Domantas Sabonis's value to me is turning him into expirings or getting him off the books so that when Toronto decides they want to go over the top this year or next year and they need to make this trade and they don't have the money, that we're the team that acquires Harrison Barnes and an unprotected 2031 pick swap from Toronto so that we'll take their whoever, and we wouldn't have that room if we had Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah, I think in the pecking order of the players, I think to change the team the most, you're looking at Levine and Sabonis.
I agree with you.
I think the easier is Monk and DeRozan.
I 100% agree with you again.
So it's not that it has to be easy.
Yes.
But I think there will be a desire to acquire DeMar DeRozan from other teams.
I agree with you.
So now, to me, if you're Scott Perry, you're looking, what's the best deal we can get?
That's right.
Probably people would be interested in Monk if you want to deal him.
Yep.
And then the other two, I bet I don't know if there's a desire for Sabonis first over Levine, but either way, it's like that would change the sculpture of the team more. But it's not as easy.
It's not.
Because of the value of the contract.
I also
dollar for dollar.
I wanted to talk to you at some point, and now's as good enough a time as any. I wanted to talk to you about another facet of that because I don't know how much it matters. I want you to tell me how much it matters in the pie. So you want to get the best deal you possibly can. How much are you also thinking about the situation you're putting the players that you're trading into? And hear me out. When you're trying to acquire players, when you're trying to convince agents to come here, when you're trying to sign free agents, let's just be honest. I don't know that there's a team in the NBA right now. I honestly don't know if there's a team that has a worse reputation than the Kings right now. I'm trying to think. It's not the Clippers. It's not the Pacers. Is it the Wizards or Hornets? Maybe New Orleans. Maybe. I don't know. Let's just say, can we agree that they have a bottom 5 reputation? Sure. Is that fair? Okay. So part of changing in today's NBA business and changing that culture is making this a desirable place to come. We've seen the power that players and agents wield. We saw that with De'Aaron Fox. We understand that this is the new world order when it comes to the NBA. So do you want to be able to say to future possible Sacramento Kings, either through trade, draft, or free agency. Hey, we sent De'Aaron Fox where he wanted to go and look at him. We did right by DeMar DeRozan, who has a lot of respect around the league. We did right by Monk and Sabonis. We did the best we could. Or do you say, I don't care about any of these people or where they go? That's the BI-isness. We need to get the best deal no matter what, even if it's like a tiebreaker.
Well, I think you always want to care about, because that's going to show.
Yeah.
But I think you have to do what's right for your organization, too. And
then you owe it to your other teams.
If there's a tiebreaker, then, maybe it's like, hey, like there was a rumor, whether it's legit or not, last week that Washington was interested in Sabonis.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, really? Okay.
Yeah, right.
That, to me, doesn't sound like that appealing of a trade to him.
No.
But if that was truly the best offer you got as an organization, I think you do it.
I agree with you. I think no matter what, you ultimately, if it's a tie-breaking move, if you think these offers are the same, but you have an opportunity to send your guy to a better situation, okay, maybe then.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you have to, it's best player available, it's BDA, it's best deal available.
Right. Like De'Aaron's was very public, and maybe these happen more often than we know. Like, hey, they wanted to go to Charlotte.
Right.
Okay. So we traded him to Charlotte.
This could be happening. I'm not saying it is. Don't start anything. This could be happening with Domantas Sabonis right now.
Could be.
It is absolutely plausible that Domantas Sabonis' agent, this did not happen as far as I know, relax. I'm creating a hypothetical. It is absolutely plausible that Domantas Sabonis' agent went to Scott Perry a while ago and was like, yeah, look, dude, so while he's injured, he wants out. He doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. And here's the 3 teams he wants to go to. And now he's not in the same contract situation that Fox was in. But I think just because Fox's deal was so public, that doesn't mean that all those types of deals are public.
Correct.
We don't hear about that all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the trick where they're in. But I know what you're saying. Like, you when we started this, like, why would I want to see if Achua, Murray, and maybe part of that's to see if Keegan is good at the 3. That's what we all feel like he should be.
Sure.
That's one part. But you're like, well, why do I want him in any games? If that's the theory, then never play anybody. Like, just play your worst roster now. Like, it's still December. I'm not saying like there's some turnaround. I think they're not into like that decision-making process yet as an organization where you get to maybe March and you go, you know what? It might be a little bit better off to put ourselves in a more difficult spot to win. They're not there yet.
Well,
they're doing it on their own.
Here's Doug Christie talking about maybe a little bit of a culture shift in what they are looking to try to do, as a matter of fact.
We can't play
that's low.
DeMar like that. Some of the games just get away and they dictate certain things. But more than anything, we have to make sure that we're developing our young players. We got to find out about guys and develop them. That's the biggest piece of the puzzle more than anything. And we will do that. I mean, that's the bottom line, because going forward, we have to make sure that these guys are as ready and as developed as they possibly can be. So as we continue down this path, we continue to improve as individuals, collectively, and then ultimately as a team and as an organization.
I think it's easier to do all of that when the veterans aren't there. And right now, we got a couple injured in Levine and Sabonis, but they will come back.
Yes.
And it's tough. It's tough to not play them.
It is. And it's tough to explain that away, because you're basically saying, well, we have made the decision to move on. And you worry about what that does to their value. I don't think they're worried about necessarily what that does to their attitudes, because let's be honest, they might be like, hey, thanks.
Yeah, but like the example on the roster, McDermott and Saric are different than Westbrook, Levine, Sabonis, DeRozan, even Monk. Like, it just you can't play everybody, and those veterans are 2 veterans that aren't playing. And they're okay with that. They've been bench guys. They probably weren't going to have the largest roles on this team. The other guys came in with having decent-sized roles, but also people I think they would like to potentially trade.
Let's move on. Doug talking about bad possession.
You feel it in the game, and I know that they feel it as well, because they're not trying to get off to slow starts. It just, we got to stay true to the principles of the things that we want. We want to set screens which create an advantage. Now we touch the paint, we collapse the defense, and then we spray the ball. Now when we collapse the defense and we don't spray the ball, now it's usually a bad shot. They get the rebound, they're out. And what we're seeing a lot of times in those first quarters is some of our, not even bad shots, but just bad possessions, which can lead to bad shots, all of a sudden lead to jailbreaks, and all of a sudden we're down 10 before we know it. When we're doing it the right way, and sometimes that is the thing that we have to do. We have to slow it down and make sure that we get into something, because every time that we get into one of our actions, we get a pretty good shot, and we have shot makers. It's when we just get out and either it's a turnover, it's a bad shot, which creates a 2-on-1, a 3v2 going the other way, that puts us in a bad spot.
Keegan Murray weighed in. He is now a veteran leader. Baby Keegan, married, veteran leader of the team. Gotta love it. Kind of a beard going still. Love that too. You said something's missing here.
I mean, at this point, we got to figure out how to get better on both ends of the floor. I think on both ends, I feel like we're missing something, and it's obviously not clicking for us right now. So, we've had a lot of practice time these last couple weeks to try and figure it out. So, we have a pretty tough stretch ahead before Christmas.
Here's Keegan on the offensive struggles of the team.
I think offensively, it's just we don't really have much continuity. I think we get to one action, and then it just ends up in an isolation and then a tough shot. And then defensively, it's just being able to communicate, being able to keep teams out of our paint, and then getting offensive rebounds and making a second effort. I think the teams that are really good do those things, and we haven't done that so far this year.
Injury, that's been a thing with Keegan. He's had to play through it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's not fun when you're all taped up and all that stuff on both of your arms. So, but for me, it's just I got to try and find a rhythm with that stuff, because I've played through injuries before. So, it's no excuse. I just have to try and find my rhythm that I lost during that first month of the season.
From the 916 guys, would you rather do shows now with how the Kings are, or go back to the COVID era and do shows now? Right?
Now, you said?
I'd rather do the shows now.
Absolutely.
The COVID era was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like people getting sick and dying and every other thing that goes with that, which is obvious. There's no sports.
Nothing. And even just, not even that, like it was a lot of nothing.
Yes, Chris?
You notice that with Jason's mic?
What?